I suppose the truth of what I'm here to build has nothing to do with what it looks like and what it seems to be, and more to do with what it is in its true essence and its true nature. So I'm not entirely bothered by how I'm perceived and how I'm received, on a physical level. I have this belief and understanding those who see me truly see me beyond what I seem to be, beyond what is obvious, beyond what is perceived of me. Or I understand even through the perception it is. I would love to believe I am open. I am an open book. And even people who have an idea and a perception of me still see the truth of me, you know? That truth that is undeniable, even when it's unknowable and it's mysterious, where you don't really know what it is you see, but you see it anyway. You feel it, you can perceive it. And so I understand my heart's true desire really has nothing to do with what it may look like or what it may seem to be. I'm here to build for myself something that is truthful, that is truly fulfilling, that is truly joyful, so that even if it may seem not enough, even it may seem mediocre to another, it's okay because I am here experiencing its truth, its essence, its fulfillment, Even when someone outside of me looks and does not really see what I see, the fact is, I see what I see. I'm existing as my highest being in the moment, really living out my purpose, my dreams, and just having the best of everything in the moment, even when everything around me seems some type of way. And so I understand my validation comes not from anything external, but my validation comes from within. My validation comes from spirit, from the divine, because this is the foundation of all I'm building. This is the purpose. This is my higher calling. This is my destiny. And so I seek not validation from the external. There is an internal, innate validation. There's this love that validates me again and again. As long as I'm showing up as my best, as long as I'm moving forward, really in alignment with the dreams, the goals, and the truth placed in my heart, then I know I'm always moving right on time. I may seem, however way I may seem to people, to someone I do know and I do believe that I am a mirror. So one person's experience of me is not the same as another's experience of me, you know? So whatever people see of me or even think of me, I do believe has so much to do with them and less to do with me. I am just out here having my own experience of myself and my world. And every other thing else is a version of me existing in someone's head, really. And I say this because every time I get to think so much about a person or like hate on a person or put someone like I remind myself these versions of people I hold in my mind's eye or in my head, these versions have nothing to do with who they are really. Because people shift, people change, people evolve in each and every given moment. You know, the friends you had in the past, the people you once knew, you hold these versions of them in your mind's eye. And sometimes you don't remember that they are not these versions. They are not, people are not what you think of them. And so, for anyone out there, whatever you think of me, you have to know that that is your version of me. That is your experience of me. Who I am has nothing to do with what I seem to be. It even has nothing to do with what I think I am, you know? I just am who I am. And I think this is a reminder to me, really, because sometimes I have people on pedestals in my mind, and then I remember, or sometimes I judge people in my mind, and then I remember I'm not really judging them as much as I'm judging myself. Because to judge people in your mind is to judge a version of them you've built that has nothing to do with who they are. To put people on pedestals is to put a version of someone on a pedestal, but you don't really know who these people are. And I think it's important to know that being as humans, we are very complex, multidimensional beings. And and let me speak from a point of someone who's putting themselves out there, posting my things on social media. I'm going to be received in very different ways. Everyone is going to see me in a different way. But it's good to remind myself whatever I see of anyone is just but a version of them. I'm putting myself out here as a teacher, an oracle in the ways of spirit and sharing my stories, right? And that is kind of putting myself in a leadership position, in a place where someone can look up to me. But you must understand that I'm not really all that. I am as human as everyone else. And that is always a reminder that when someone says something and it does not resonate with you, it doesn't matter what position and what role they hold. You must remember you have an innate guidance and innate compass. You must remember that your experience of people is you experiencing this version of them is you must know and remember that people are more than what you think they are. And I would feel that is why people have these icons, idols, people they look up to, they find out something about them and then they're disappointed. Is there's so many layers to being human, to anyone, to every single one of us. And my experience of my world, of my life, kind of reminds me again and yet again I only have so much access to myself and no one else. So whenever I find myself thinking about someone, taking seriously what someone has said, doing this about someone, about anyone outside of myself, I remind myself the truth of the fact that anyone else outside of me, I'm just but experiencing a version of them. And this is true for me because I'm out here experiencing myself so deeply. And I imagine nobody else knows the depths of my soul in the ways that I know it. Nobody else experiences me in the ways that I know me. And so, whatever anyone else thinks of me is just but a version of me that does not even touch the surface of who I truly am. Nobody knows like my secret life. Nobody knows what I think when I'm silent. Nobody knows what I do when I'm alone in the darkness of I don't know. But do you get my point? There is an experience of yourself that is real and true that nobody else ever really knows, feels, or understands in the ways that you do. And for that reason alone, you know yourself and understand yourself better than anyone else ever will. And so, like, it kind of that gives me a perspective and decentralizes everyone. It reminds me that I don't know people as much as I think I do. So I have no right to judge that which I know not. I have no right to put people on such a pedestal because, like, what? And so then it brings me to remind you that you know yourself better than anyone else knows you. You can love yourself deeper than anyone else can love you. And I feel like we just have versions of people. But we don't really know the depth because people go so deep. We are so multidimensional. People go so deep. So deep. I don't even think we could understand how our daily experiences affect us, how people's experience of their lives affect them, what it makes them. And so maybe the point is nobody knows you in the ways you know yourself. And don't even for a second think you know someone that much. You only ever have a version of them in your mind. And that is my take. It may not be Bible truth. I don't know. That is just my take. That is my experience. And that is how I see things. So, yeah.